Hey, this is Dave, the solar motivator. And I just got off a sales call of an appointment the company gave me. And I had to confirm the address with this guy. And he's like, somebody doesn't know how to write. And so I kind of knew I was going to go into a curmudgeon situation. Killing this guy with kindness, had to really use short phrases, He's like, I know everything you're talking about. Okay, well, you called me out, So, I'm just starting a first couple slides of this particular solar presentation. He's like, well, what is the price? Get on with it, I'm just like, okay. You won't allow me, I'm thinking, you won't allow me to do my job. I get it, you don't need to know anything else, right? You don't need to know anything, what we offer or anything. You just got the price, even though you could just Google that, right? So he tells me he's got no liability, which of course takes his 26% tax credit down to nothing. So I'm calling in to getting help on this, getting a good price, giving him the best deal we possibly can. Because, you want the customer, you want to help him. But I have to get him to admit that he's in debt to the electric company. And I have been making people come to terms with that. Or I kind of just paused, not with him so much. But I said, well, sir, when will you be out of debt with the electric company? Tell me. And I said this. I said, tell me what month. I want to write it down. It was a little sarcastic. But you gotta understand, this guy's been giving me shiitake mushrooms for a half an hour straight. But that was with the disc cell system, the dominant, the influencer, the four ways people buy. I recognize him as a dominant, right? I recognize him like you kind of got to match him a little bit. Now, he cut my presentation. It's like, okay, you've cut my sales presentation. I'll just answer your questions right now. I kind of gave him that liberty for a little bit, but I let him know I was allowing it. I'm still working on that. So at one point, he didn't want to sit down. I'm just doing this, on the back table, which is fine. I've worked on dumpsters. I've worked on ladders. I've worked upside down. Oh, no. That was when I was in the circus. That was a trapeze. Never mind. So at one point, his wife just is like, how much is it going to cost? Through the window. And he's like, 40,000. She's like, nope. And I'm like, that's completely out of context. I go, did you want to tell her how much you're going to be paying the electric company? No, I don't want to pay her that. Oh, okay. So we do the math. I actually had made a mistake when I put the usage of the month of April or June. Instead of 1,500 kilowatts, it was actually 5.1. So that was a mistake. That brought everything down. He'd already gotten a good deal. And now then he says his tax liability. So now we have a wigwammy deal. It's totally down. So he's paying $193 a month. I go, hey, we got you down to $156. Oh, this is awesome. And actually, I think that 193 might have been a little high. So we got him lower. Hey, and he didn't want to hear anything else. I'm like, well, I asked you if it's underneath, do you want to go solar? Even though he's mean, doesn't mean I don't want to do business with him. I'll take his money and I'll help him and I'll help his family, even though he's mean. He's like, oh, I gotta think about it. Okay, I know. You. So I go, I just sent you the proposal, sir. He's like, well, where's the paper? I go, he's asking me the dumbest question. I'm there with an iPad. I just made his proposal and he's asking me, where is it on paper? Now, come on. And I said, sir, do you see a printer here? You can print it. And he said he's going to have another guy come out. I'm like, okay, that's great. I ended up saying, I hope you give him as much spunk as you gave me. It was a nice way to say, you've been but I didn't say it negatively, right? But I'm still matching his energy without cussing or something like that. I thought I did a good job. I recorded it all, the audio. And he goes, well, I just hate salesmen. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you called me out. Meaning, not you called me out like, hey, you called me to come here. I go, you're welcome. I said, you're welcome. I go, I just showed you how to save $42,000. Isn't that fantastic? No, it's not fantastic. It's just a fact, he says. Well, the fact that we're saving you $42,000 is fantastic. I go, hey, you can be negative. I go, but, I'm going to call you. He didn't want to make a follow-up appointment. Call me in a couple weeks. Well, that's death to the salesman. Hello, McFly. I go, sir, I need to do my job. We're going to make an appointment. And it was then he just went with it. He needed to be called on that. He tried to get that easy way out. I go, sir, I would never kind of combat someone like this, but he had already done this 40 minutes and just bing, 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 bing. So I said, sir, I'm doing my job. And I go, if you just wanted a quote, you could have just looked this up. But I've given you a specific proposal for your house, and it took some time. You'd like to think about it. I'm going to follow up on that. That's my job. I gave you an individual treatment. Otherwise, you could go on the internet, and he called it the interwebs, and tried to get him to laugh a little bit. Man, he goes, well, I'm just pissed off. No, here's what pissed him off. I had asked him if I could tell his wife, who was just through the door. I go, hey, can I just give her a little summary, 90 second? No, she's doing something. I go, well, that's when we were trying to figure out if they were liable for the tax credit or not. And I go, well, there's $13,000 on the line. Here was the one thing I said that was rude. But I wouldn't take it back because this guy was curmudgeon. And I said, she must be doing something at least worth $14,000 or else we can't get her to come out. Boom. So I mentioned that again. I go, well, yeah, I did meet her and I met the dog. Charlie was an awesome dog. And he goes, it pissed me off when you said that. And I go, well, sir, I showed you how to save $42,000. If you ever find a way to help me save $40,000, please let me know. Kind of said something like, don't mean to piss you off, but I go, oh, this is what I said. I said, sir, with all due respect, you were pissed off before I got here. And I go, and matching his energy. Now, if I sell that one, I'll make a second video. If I don't, assume that I'm going to let that one fall through the cracks. Because can you imagine his attitude with every step of the way? He's an electrician. He was micromanaging. He had a lot of questions, which is great. Hello. So I usually don't like to say this, but I am totally cool with this guy saying no. In fact, I was taught by my friend Devin, not to be an errand boy. I'm doing a job. Don't just look up things for people, kind of a thing. And that's his advice. But I did say, I'm just not just like an internet errand boy kind of a thing, right? We have a great company that we're giving you a great offer on. And he goes, that's just what I wanted, a price. He goes, if it's $100, it's $100. It's $81, it's $81. There, that's all I wanted. I go, well, sir, I do business a little bit different. I give people a price when they ask. And then you know what I do? He's like, no. I put him right on that rug. I go, I ask for business. I go, sir, if you were a journeyman, if you were an electrician, didn't you ever ask for business? He goes, no, I never asked for business. I just gave people the price. Well, sir, I give people the price and I ask for business. So, little bunch of takeaways there. I match his energy with try not to be rude. I had to stick him a couple times just to kind of earn his respect. We'll see what happens. I'm actually kind of hoping not to work with him. But to represent my company and represent my time, I hope he goes solar. Thanks for listening to my most curmudgeon sales call of my life in solar so far.